This is the United Kingdom, a small but densely populated European country just off the coast from the Eurogang. The UK has played a central role in developing the modern economic system as we know it, having been the birthplace of the first industrial revolution, as well as taking the idea of international trade to a whole new level. And although the UK economy today may no longer have anywhere near the sway it used to have on the global economy, it nonetheless remains an important and lucrative market. But just how important is it? And how did the UK become something more than just a damp, wet island surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean? In order to understand how, why and when, one must start with the history. Now, back before the UK had an empire and claimed territory like it were property in a game of Monopoly, its economy wasn't particularly impressive. It wasn't a poor nation in relation to its European neighbours, but neither was it a global economic heavyweight. However, throughout the 16th and 17th centuries, many fundamental economic and political changes took place, some of which linked to the Black Death, and they resulted in the Kingdom of England, as it then was, moving towards industrialisation. This change in direction was given a massive boost by the British Empire, which had imposed the popular policy of the time, mercantilism, on its colonies. Mercantilism, which for those who are not down with the cool kids, is the economic policy that tries to maximize exports while minimizing imports of an economy in order to accumulate monetary reserves. Now, this was fundamental to the development of the UK's economy at the time and led to the UK becoming one of the most prosperous economic regions in Europe in the 17th century. By the second half of the 18th century, things got spicy, as the Industrial Revolution, which began in the UK, started to spread across Europe and the US. This was a huge moment not only in the history of the UK's economy, but also that of the world economy, as it is widely accepted as the moment from which the modern capitalist economy that we know today emerged. By the mid-19th century, the economic policy of mercantilism had been abandoned and substituted with that of free trade, as tariffs on a range of goods came falling down. The UK economy benefited greatly from this, as did some, but by no means all, of its colonies. In fact, by 1870, Britain's economic output per head was second only to Australia. In the run-up to the First World War, the UK's economy continued to grow, and the export of capital became a UK-dominated industry, with 50% of capital investment across the world being raised in the City of London by 1913. But as World War I and World War II came and went, with the serving of the Great Depression in between, the economy suffered enormously, with large losses of merchant ships proving to have a severely negative impact on the UK's ability to export. However, all was not lost. Like many European economies, after World War II, the UK economy recovered. And after an initial period of austerity and a program of nationalisation of certain industries that lasted into the 1950s, the UK economy began to grow, and a new wave of economic prosperity took place, drastically improving the standard of living across the island of tea drinkers. However, relative to its European neighbours, the UK's economy was actually declining in importance, as other nations like West Germany, Italy and France experienced higher rates of economic growth. Throughout the second half of the 20th century, the UK's economy continued a long-term trend of deindustrialisation, which was given no hope of revival from the, at the time, Thatcher government, which prioritised competition policy over industrial policy. The Thatcher governments of the 1980s rushed in a new form of economic policy centred around the privatisation and deregulation of many industries. This was in part responsible for unemployment reaching 12%, the highest it had been since the 1930s. In recent decades, though, the UK's economy has outpaced that of the other major European nations, with the service sector being fundamental to economic growth. And despite being hit hard by the Great Recession in 2008, the UK's economy has more or less remained in good shape. With that rather extensive economic history summed up, the question now is, what is the UK's economy like today? Is it a highly innovative machine or a slowly dying relic of the past? The United Kingdom is home to a highly developed social market economy. therefore combining a free market capitalist economic system alongside social policies, like the establishment of a relatively strong welfare state. In terms of size, the UK's economy is the 6th largest in the world, and its GDP per capita ranks it 21st, just behind the French. In addition to this, the UK is one of the easiest countries to do business in, and is home to the world's 4th largest reserve currency, the pound sterling, as well as one of the world's global financial centres. With all that said, it's no surprise then that the UK's economy excels in a range of industries, from the financial service industry to the aerospace, pharmaceutical and professional service industries. So let's take a look at some of them, starting with the aerospace industry. The British aerospace industry is the largest national aerospace industry in Europe, with $44.6 billion in turnover in 2016, with BAE Systems and Rolls-Royce both ranking in the top 10 global aerospace companies. The industry is a key employer in the manufacturing sector, providing some 95,000 people with jobs mainly in the English regions of the Southwest and East Midlands. What's impressive about the aerospace industry, though, isn't its ability to slap on a British flag on the side of a jumbo jet, but instead it's the progress made with regards to productivity. You see, between 2010 and 2016, productivity in the industry grew by 19%, compared to 3% across the UK economy as a whole. Another lucrative British industry is its financial services industry, which generated $171 billion in economic output in 2018, as well as $37.5 billion in tax, while employing 1.1 million people in a variety of well-paid jobs. With London being a global centre of international finance, this isn't a huge surprise. However, 51% of the revenue generated in the financial sector in the UK comes from outside the capital, with cities such as Edinburgh, Manchester, Birmingham and Leeds also playing an important role. But despite the well-paid jobs and sophisticated firms, the UK's economy is often criticised for being too centralised around the British capital, the results of which can be seen if we just take a more regional look at the data. One issue that sticks with British governments of the past, present and most definitely the future is the economic divide between London and the rest of the UK. This issue is by no means just a British one. In fact, many countries around the world experience a similar problem, with regions outside of the capital's metropolitan area registering a significantly lower level of economic output. Now, according to the Office of National Statistics, London's GDP per capita is 171% that of the UK as a whole. And with the exception of London and the South East, every single region in the UK has a GDP per capita below that of the UK's national average, suggesting that the data is highly skewed by London's GDP figure. In fact, if you added up the Scottish and Welsh economies and doubled the figure, it would still fall short of London's economic output, despite a quite significant demographic advantage. This huge gap in economic output between London and the rest of the UK is a well-established element of the UK's economy, and it has contributed to a series of socio-economic problems both within the capital as well as outside. And if this is a topic you'd like to hear more about, then let me know in the comments section below. But for now, we must ask, with whom do all these regions do their trade? Who are the main trading partners of the UK? Given the UK's geographical proximity and historical ties to members that make up the European Union, it is no surprise that the EU is by far the UK's largest trading partner, comprising 49% of all the UK's trade. If we break down that figure, we see that Germany is the largest trading partner within the EU, which again isn't too much of a surprise given the beast that is the German economy. Beyond Brussels, though, we see that the USA, China and Switzerland are the UK's first, 5th and 10th top trading partners, with a combined £304.6 billion in trade in 2018. However, it's worth pointing out that in the same year, the UK exported more to Ireland than it did to China, despite the population of the small nation being 290 times smaller. With the world economy continuing to churn and an economic transition to take place as a result of Brexit, some trading partners may shuffle about in the next decade. However, given the economic size, geography and history between the UK and the EU, it is inconceivable to think that the EU will play a small role in the UK's economic future. The British economy has gone through a lot in the last 300 years, from having emerged as the developed economy to beat back in the 18th and 19th centuries to having to settle for a less significant role in the global economy today. With business uncertainty likely to continue into the next couple of years, we will most likely witness how adaptable the UK economy really is, and its effects on the land of tea drinkers. Hi everyone, first of all, smash that like button, subscribe and share this video to any British friends you may have. The economy of the UK is quite a handful and diverse, and I had to drop many topics that I'd love to have included in this video. If there are any topics that you'd like to see about the UK's economy, then tell me about them in the comment section below, and I might make a video about them in the future. Otherwise, take care. Bye.